Hi, it's Charles Mackenzie from Infected Blood Australia here. And I'm just looking at our Instagram account and a comment that was made in relation to this post. The post says, why was the Australian Red Cross advertising for blood donors in sexually explicit publications during the 1980s HIV crisis? A really big question, considering the large volume of people that ended up contaminated with HIV, and with children from our group, and a kid I went to school with actually died of AIDS in the 1980s as a result of this. And it's a really big question for parents that lost children, and for others that lost family members, and of course for survivors with HIV, people living with the virus today in our group. So incredibly, the Australian Red Cross Lifeblood actually commented in response to someone following us, and they said here, in response to this post. So just have a look at that. Why was the Australian Red Cross advertising for blood donors in sexually explicit publications during the 1980s HIV crisis? No blood bank in the world did that. And this is what they reply. Hi, this is the Australian Red Cross Lifeblood. These are the managers of Australia's blood supply. Okay? They collect blood and they make it into blood transfusions or platelet transfusions, or they send it to be made into blood products for people like haemophiliacs. That's what they used to do in the old days when factor VIII, which was the treatment for haemophiliacs, was made from blood, as it was in the 1980s. And of course, haemophiliacs, 1,400 of them were killed by the lifeblood. They were killed by Australian Red Cross Lifeblood and CSL blood. And then we have tens of thousands of Australians who are infected with the deadly virus hepatitis C. So this is what the Lifeblood has to say. Hi, the Therapeutic Goods Administration, TGA. Okay, well, the TGA nearly closed a few years ago with the scandals, with the disaster that they are, having allowed pelvic mesh to harm so many Australians. How on earth did they allow that terrible medical device to be approved? And it says here, hi, the Therapeutic Goods Administration and the National Blood Authority oversee all that Lifeblood does. Well, they need to be closed, because they're covering up Australia's deadliest medical scandal. And it says here, we assure you that every donation we receive is screened and tested in the best interests of safety. We're currently seeing a downturn of donor numbers due to multiple factors, including natural disasters, but also due to ongoing COVID-19 restrictions. Note, okay, the question was about this. Why was the Australian Red Cross advertising for blood donors in sexually explicit publications during the 1980s HIV crisis? And there you have the answer, which completely evades the answer. Do you see the problem? The Australian Red Cross Lifeblood need to be removed from the management of Australia's blood supply. They cannot, in the current circumstances, be trusted. Now, it's important to recognise that the Canadian Red Cross were removed, booted out and sacked and criminally prosecuted for what they'd done in Canada. Now, our Australian Red Cross has done the exact same thing, and they give these answers. Answers that completely evade the big question. Why were they advertising for donors in sexually explicit publications during the 1980s HIV crisis? It's a big question, and by evading it, they won't get away with it. We're going to take them to court. And if anyone from Lifeblood is listening, see you in court.